Before the world knew the moonwalk, before the sold-out stadiums, before the Jacksons' name became music royalty, there was a young woman quietly watching history unfold from the front row. She was a sister, a protector, and a witness to greatness. But while the spotlight chased the stars around her, she remained in the shadows. Not because she lacked talent, not because she lacked ambition, but because fame came with a price that she understood better than most. This is the story of the eldest Jackson sibling, the forgotten voice of one of entertainment's most powerful dynasties, a woman who sacrificed fame for peace and carried the emotional weight of a legendary family through decades of triumph, heartbreak, and tragedy. The centerpiece of today's video is all about Rebbie Jackson. Now before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to be sure you won't miss out on any more uploads. Now without further ado, let's cue that intro. Long before global fame transformed the Jackson family into icons, there was just another struggling family in Gary, Indiana. And at the center of it all was a young girl named Maureen Verlette Jackson, who was born on May 29, 1950. She's the eldest child of Joseph and Catherine Jackson. As the oldest sibling, responsibilities came early. She helped raise her younger brothers and sisters. She cooked meals, watched over the house, and became a second mother figure long before adulthood. The Jackson household was strict. Discipline ruled the home. And under Joe Jackson's demanding leadership, music became more than a hobby. It became the family's way out of poverty. Rebbie watched her younger brothers rehearse for hours. She watched them transform into performers and watched the pressure build inside the home. And unlike many people around her, she understood the emotional cost of fame before the world ever saw it. By the late 60s, everything changed. The Jackson 5 exploded onto the music scene with unstoppable force. As fame consumed the Jackson's household, Rebbie became known as one of the calmer and more grounded siblings. She wasn't chasing cameras. She wasn't fighting for headlines. And perhaps because of that, the public often overlooked her completely. But inside the family, her presence mattered deeply. She was stable during chaos, peaceful during conflict, and comfort during moments of enormous pressure. In 1968, while the Jackson family fame was beginning to rise, she made a life-changing decision. At just the age of 18, she married her childhood sweetheart, Nathaniel Brown. The marriage reportedly created tension within the family, especially with her father. Some believe Joe feared losing control of his eldest daughter. But Rebbie, she followed her own path. That path looked very different for the rest of the family. Instead of chasing celebrity life full time, she focused on motherhood and building a stable home. In many ways, Rebbie became the most private Jackson. While her brothers and sisters became tabloid fixtures, Rebbie initially stayed away from the chaos. But even while raising a family, music never fully left her life. Because talent like hers doesn't just disappear, it waits for the right moment. By the early 80s, the Jackson name dominated entertainment. Jermaine and LaToya had respectable, successful solo careers. Michael Jackson was becoming the biggest superstar on earth, and Janet, she was emerging as a future icon. And finally, Rebbie decided to step forward. Her singing career began in 1974 when she performed with her siblings in Las Vegas. She once considered singing to be a private passion before performing with her siblings. During this time, she worked as a supporting vocalist for numerous performers. She sang on songs by The Emotions, Sonny Bono, and Betty Wright before her second pregnancy temporarily halted her musical career. In 1984, at just the age of 34, she released her debut album, Centipede. This album peaked at number 63 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 13 on the R&B albums charts. The title track, that was written and produced by Michael Jackson himself, became a major hit. The song peaked 24 on the pop charts, number 4 on the R&B charts, and 24 on the dance charts. Suddenly, audience discovered something unexpected. Rebbie had a powerful voice. It was smooth, emotional, and uniquely hers. The music video to this song introduced her to a new generation of fans. For the very first time, she wasn't simply viewed as Michael's older sister. She was an artist. But being a Jackson came with impossible comparisons. Every performance, album, and interview, the public constantly compared her career to the unbelievable success of her siblings. And competing against global icons inside your own family is almost impossible. But still, Rebbie continued recording music throughout the 80s and early 90s and quietly built a respectable career on her own terms. Her next album, Reaction, was released in 1986. It peaked number 54 on the R&B charts, followed by the 1988 album, Are You Tough Enough, that peaked number 58 on the R&B charts, followed by her last album, Yours Faithfully, that peaked at number 50 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 38 on the R&B charts. Her charted songs during this time was A Fork in the Road, that peaked number 40 on the R&B charts, Reaction, that peaked number 16 on the R&B charts, You Send the Rain Away, that peaked number 50 on the R&B charts, Plaything, that peaked number 8 on the R&B charts, Are You Tough Enough, that peaked number 78 on the R&B charts, and Yours Faithfully, that peaked number 40 on the R&B charts. And I know for certain there's no doubt. I guess you know how to. To the world, the Jackson family looked glamorous. They were successful and untouchable. But behind the scenes, the family carried emotional scars. Years of pressure, constant media attention, business conflicts, public scandals, and personal heartbreak slowly affected everyone that was connected to the Jackson name. She witnessed all of it. She watched the intense scrutiny surrounding Michael Jackson, the legal battles, the tabloid attacks, and the emotional isolation. And despite being one of the quieter siblings, she remained protective of her family. Unlike many celebrity relatives, she rarely spoke out publicly about private family drama. She avoided controversy, attention, and protected her peace whenever it was possible. But being silent doesn't mean someone isn't hurting. And behind closed doors, the Jackson family carried burdens the public could barely imagine. Then came the moment that changed everything forever.
We're getting some breaking news coming into the situation right now from about Michael Jackson, the king of pop, who's 50 years old. Let's go to Deborah Farrick. She's working the story for us. What are we picking up, Deb?
Well, Wolf, here's what we can tell you. This is what's being reported by KTLA. Apparently, Michael Jackson suffered cardiac arrest this afternoon. He was rushed to UCLA Medical Center.
At 12:21 this afternoon, the Los Angeles 911 operators took a call in regards to a need for a medical emergency at the 100 block of Candlewood Drive, which is in West Los Angeles. When the paramedics got on scene, they treated the patient and then immediately transported the patient to a UCLA.
June 25th, 2009 was a day that the world stopped. Michael Jackson sadly passed away. Fans gathered outside hospitals. News stations interrupted broadcasts. Millions mourned the loss of the king of pop. But for Rebbie, this wasn't just a passing of a superstar. This was the loss of her little brother, the boy she knew before fame, before the world tours, before the loneliness that often surrounded celebrity life. The cameras followed the Jacksons through every painful moment of grief. And once again, she carried herself with quiet strength, composed, protective, and grateful. Today, the Jackson family remains one of the most famous families in entertainment history. But her story still stands apart because her life wasn't built entirely around fame. She chose privacy where the world demanded spectacle. She chose family over celebrity culture. And while she may not have reached the commercial heights of her younger siblings, her impact still matters. She represents something rare in Hollywood, which was balance and dignity. In many ways, she escaped the darkness that consumed so many celebrity lives. She protected her identity. She stayed grounded and lived life on her own terms. That's her greatest achievement of all. History remembers the brightest stars, the loudest names, the biggest legends, but sometimes the most important people are the ones standing quietly besides greatness. Rebbie Jackson was never simply Michael Jackson's sister. She was the first Jackson child, a witness to history, a protector of the family, and a woman whose quiet strength helped hold together one of the most famous families the world has ever known. Now, before we go, I have a question for you all. What is your favorite song by Rebbie Jackson? Before I go, I want to take a second to promote my Discord. Over here, I provide a safe space for my supporters. We discuss music of all genres. You can provide me feedback on recent uploads, etc. If that interests you, then go ahead and check me out. The link is in my bio. While I have y'all here, if you would like to support the channel further, then feel free to become a member. By doing so, you help make these videos possible. I thank each and every one of you who supported me along this journey.